you will remember that what was also very important in The Secret was this idea that we talked about before about being passionate, as expressed in the concept of play, of playing with everything that happens in your reality. Really having an attitude of gratitude toward it so that you receive every experience you have in a playful way, and thus by receiving it in that playful way can do that much more with it. Be that much more creative with it. Allow it to be that much more flexible, malleable, stretchable, changeable, formable. Play. Play. That energy is what allows physical reality to become like clay. So play with the clay of physical reality. If you approach it from an energy state of being that is of a lower vibration, that's when the clay hardens. That's when it's unchanging in that state. But as soon as you start to be more playful with what's going on in your life, it softens and becomes clay-like, plastic, malleable, formable, changeable again, and gets in step with the fourth law. As you do. Change is the only constant. So in that sense, when you become more playful, you become more changeable. And as a result, your physical reality will mirror that changeability. Become easier to transform from one kind of reflection to another. Now, very important. This is where physical mind, once again, can sometimes get caught up in its own sense of control. And that is that when we talk about the idea that what you put out is what you get back, the physical mind, because, again, of how it looks at physical reality being the only thing there is, will assume that if it doesn't see an exact one-to-one reflection in the circumstances that surround you with what it is you believe you're giving off, you will think that something has failed. Again, I remind you, this is where you get caught in your own paradoxical trap. Even though it is true that what you put out is what you get back, and that by being in a certain state of being, that will determine what the circumstances around you are, the first stage of that, the first manifestation of that, will be usually, especially in your world of space and time, usually the first reflection will look the same as it used to. Because this gives you an opportunity to reinforce the state of being by responding to the circumstances that look the same differently than you did before. And that is where you then allow the circumstances to truly reflect that you have changed and demonstrate that you truly have changed by responding to the circumstances differently, even if they look the same as they used to. That's how it works. So the first reflection will usually be an echo of how it used to look. You must not respond to the echo as if that's the representation of your new state. You must respond to it, in a sense, as if you know it's just an echo, and that what you're putting out now, the new response to the old circumstances, that will solidify the vibration of your preferred state of being and truly allow the circumstances to change themselves and take their cue from the new vibration you're putting out, which is the absolute certainty that you are different. Because if you respond to the old echo in the same way you used to, you are not different. So in a sense, it's like you're testing yourself. It's like you're giving yourself an opportunity to decide whether you really do want the circumstances to change by first presenting yourself very often with the same set of circumstances to see if you respond differently to them, making a clear commitment that you have, in fact, vibrationally changed your state of being. Once you have then done that and respond differently to the same set of circumstances, then you have established that you truly have changed, and then the circumstances can reflect that change. So don't be fooled by the echo into thinking you've done something wrong by labeling it in the same way you used to. Oh, I didn't see what I wanted to get immediately. It looks the same as it did before. The same people are here giving me the same kind of feedback. I must have done something wrong. Or something's not working. Or you find that you're reacting to it in the same way you used to, because if you do, you have not changed. So that's the self-reinforcing mechanism that gives you the opportunity to decide whether you really want to change that circumstance or not. Because again, remember, all belief systems by definition are self-reinforcing. They have to be. If belief systems were not self-reinforcing and making themselves seem like the only thing there is to believe in, you wouldn't be able to have an actual, distinct, discrete belief system experience. If beliefs did not come with a self-reinforcing mechanism, you wouldn't be able to have a discrete physical experience. And because they come with a self-reinforcing mechanism, when you change your vibrational state, one of the last things to fade will be the self-reinforcing mechanism. It will present the same scenario to you once again, but it will be presented not as a concrete reality, but only as an illusion, only as an echo of what was, to give you a chance to really decide that you will break through that self-reinforcing mechanism by defining and labeling it differently than you used to, proving that you have changed, thus allowing the reflection to then truly come. That's how that works. Use that mechanism to your advantage by understanding very clearly. And if you wish to use this almost as a mantra, you certainly may. Again, as we discussed last night, all of these things are nothing more than permission slips that, if you decide they work for you, if you decide they resonate according to your frequency, will simply allow you to permit yourself to change in the way you prefer to. The mantra doesn't do it for you. It simply is a reflection of the belief system within you that says this is what you will allow to give you permission, to give yourself permission to change in the way you wish to. So use this as a mantra if you wish, if it works for you, knowing that you're doing it if you need it at all. And that is, again, the idea, not even so much the statement that circumstances do not determine state of being. State of being determines circumstances. Now you can use that. However, we would also suggest something even simpler and something even stronger. And that is simply, and the mantra is this: circumstances don't matter. Only state of being matters. And again, listen to the way that this synchronistically translates in your English language. Circumstances don't matter. They do not create materialization. Only state of being matters. Only state of being materializes experience. So, the mantra is, anytime you find yourself doubting, stuck, fearful, because of what you believe the situation is, what you believe the circumstances are, you can, if you wish, use this little reminder. Circumstances don't matter. Only state of being matters. And then choose the state of being you prefer. And then redefine the circumstances from that state of being, so that you can erase the echo and allow the true reflection to then take form from your state of being.
Hi, Bashar.
And you good day.
I've been thinking a lot about what I would ask, and I've been following your teachings for a while, and I understand that I should be acting on my highest excitement.
Well, it's not a should, it's a choice.
Yes. And I feel very stuck in my life right now.
How exciting.
I know.
So you are at a crossroads.
Yeah.
Which means you have many options.
Yeah.
What are they?
Well, I'm pregnant.
Oh, all right. Congratulations.
That's a new path that's really exciting. Thank you. I feel like there's a calling on my life to be a part of the awakening of humanity.
And how would you like to express that in your passion?
Well, I'm very passionate about personal development and growth.
Yes.
But I'm passionate at consuming it for myself, and I feel like I need to share it.
And how would you like to do that? That's what I'm asking you. What is the most exciting way you can imagine sharing that kind of information to be of assistance to others, so you can help them also find their passion and become more of who they are? How would you prefer to do that? What's the most exciting way? Because remember, please remember, when we talk about acting on your passion, your excitement, all the components of it need to match in order for it to be truly representative of your excitement. So it's not only acting on the thing at any given moment that's exciting to you more than anything else, but how it's most exciting, where it's most exciting, with whom it's most exciting. All the components need to be there, or it's not a true representation of your excitement. Yes?
Yes.
So?
This is the part where I feel like it's a brain, because...
Brain,
like F-U-C-K, you know, like... Because for me right now...
If I see K, what do you want me to tell her?
This is the first time in my life where, like, I don't feel like I could answer that question because...
What if...
Yeah.
The most exciting thing for you right now is to figure this out?
That is, yes.
You do understand, as we have said before, that when we talk about acting on your excitement, it doesn't mean you have to be jumping up and down and running around with your hair on fire. Being in a state of balanced contemplation and peace can be an expression of your passion if it is necessary at that moment for you to do so. So what if this is your moment to simply take the time to decide and discover what might be the ways in which you would prefer to express this idea that you're talking about, and to trust that synchronicity will bring you the opportunities and the options that will then be obvious, in a sense, when they come to you. Not that the way it comes to you has to be the way that comes to fruition, remember, because sometimes excitement simply needs to get to you in whatever form you're willing to pay attention to. And sometimes it has to come in a form that gets your attention. It doesn't mean that that particular expression has to come to fruition. It may only come to you that way to get you to start moving.
Right.
But also, as we remind you, it's also about little steps. So we assume, you can correct us if we are in error, that you are here tonight because out of all the options available to you, this was the most exciting choice at the time.
Absolutely.
Well, it's as easy as that. When you are done with this experience, you will have other choices. You can go home, you can read a book, you can see a movie, you can have some dinner, you can call a friend, you can do many different things. You have many options available to you. All you have to do is keep choosing the one that has even just the teeny tiny little bit more excitement than any other choice. That's all you have to do. Just say which one has even just a smidgen more excitement, more attractiveness than any other option I am now aware of, and just act on that one first to the best that you are able, taking it as far as you can till you can take it no further, with absolutely zero insistence or assumption as to what the outcome of that action ought to be, and you will be following the formula perfectly that will allow you to continue to accelerate and expand and receive bigger and bigger and bigger and more obvious opportunities for you to act on to expand your expression of excitement. That's why we call this the instruction manual. It's how reality is built. So if you just even do that, just those tiny little steps, it will snowball. It will get bigger. Yes?
Yes. And
Is
I
that
feel like I'm
so
doing
difficult?
that. No.
Well, if you are doing it, saying you feel like you are doing it is not necessarily that you are doing it.
Right.
So are you honestly doing it?
At times, absolutely.
Well, we're not talking about the times when you do, are we?
Right.
We're talking about the times when you don't. And what would be the reason why you don't would be the most important question to ask yourself.
Well, I have a question for you.
Yes.
So I hear callings, for example, like to spread my message through making videos online and being more seen online.
Yes.
But then I get fearful to do it.
Thank you. And why?
Afraid of being seen, afraid of not being good enough, not knowing what to say.
Blah, 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 blah,
exactly.
blah, 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 blah. Are you tired of hearing those things?
Yes.
Then why are you judging yourself? Even before anyone else gets a chance to.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening.
The idea really is that, again, if you have a gift to give, there are people who are ready to receive it. The ones who are not ready to receive it, the ones who do not wish to receive it, the ones who have something negative to say about you doing that, aren't your audience anyway.
Right.
And you will never convince them that they are. Mm-hmm. They have to convince themselves that they will get benefit out of your information. But if you never share it, the ones who actually need it, who are looking for it, are deprived of it.
Yeah.
You're being a meanie, holding it back from them. Why are you being so unkind to the people who are waiting to receive the information, the gifts you have to give?
Because I can't get over myself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what prevents you from getting over yourself?
The bullshit stories I keep telling myself.
And why do you keep telling yourself stories that you no longer prefer to hear? What do you get out of doing it?
There's obviously a secondary gain, but I don't know.
Well, that's where the motivational mechanism comes in. You have to find out what you would have to believe is true in order to move in the direction of something you don't prefer instead of the direction that you do. Because you see, again, this is without fail. Without fail. You always move in the direction of what you believe benefits you. You always move away from what you believe does not benefit you. Always. Without fail. Therefore, if you're moving in the direction of something that doesn't benefit you, that can only mean you're disguising it to appear as if it does benefit you. And if you're moving away from what would truly benefit you, that means you're disguising it with a definition or a belief to make it seem as if it would be not beneficial to you. Mm-hmm. So you have to find out what the definitions are you're attaching to your motivational mechanism that would disguise these things in reverse order.
Yeah.
So what do you believe is the benefit, as you sort of already hinted at, for not putting this information out there? You have said, well, people will judge me, I won't be good enough, etc., blah, 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 yes? But do you really, really believe that those things are true now that you understand that the only people that matter in that context are the ones that are willing to receive it anyway? Who cares what the others think?
Right.
Yes?
Yes.
So if you understand that, is there anything holding you back? If there is, that's fine. Be honest.
So the thing that holds me back is, so for example, Darryl channels you, and I feel like that information comes from a higher source, and I get all information comes from a higher source.
Yes.
All my learnings have come through reading and seminars and events. And
so what?
I guess I'm afraid that I don't have my own unique content to share.
But you are unique.
Yeah.
And therefore you're going to spin it in whatever way makes sense to you. It'll come to you. But you see, the thing of it is, you're not allowing yourself to discover what your unique presentation or style or interpretation actually is because you're not even willing to begin. You can't learn who you are if you don't act like who you are.
Right.
You can't receive what you're not the vibration of. So you don't have to have it all when you begin. You have to begin to have it all.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
So if you are really excited about discovering what your interpretation, your spin on these concepts are, then you have to begin to share something so that you can create a reflection that comes back to you that then guides you, that then course corrects you toward the way in which you would more uniquely be capable of expressing it for the people that are willing to hear it through your unique expression. And when you do that, you're allowing your higher mind to be part of the equation, and therefore the information will be coming from a higher source.
Right.
Yes?
Yes.
Is this making sense?
Absolutely.
Is this helping?
Yes, thank you.
Is there anything else?
Do you have anything else that...
I'm not holding anything back from you. It really is that simple. That's perhaps another thing you need to understand. It really is no more complicated than that. You don't need to overthink it. Let it be obvious. You learn by doing.
Right.
Yes?
Yes.
So the only way to really learn who you are is to do something that allows you to discover that.
Right.
You have to begin somewhere. You have to take the baby steps. If the baby doesn't take the first steps, the baby never learns to walk and then run. Yes?
Yes.
So you will come up with your own unique expression. You'll be inspired to do so. Synchronicity in your life will then bring you things to look at that you will look at in your unique way and say, I can put this spin on that. I can put that spin on it. I can learn to say it this way, and it might actually be more fun to do it this way. But that will never happen if you don't start moving.
Thank you.
Does that help?
Yes, thank you,
Thank
Bashar.
you.
My question is, I'm in a work environment where I want to know what my purpose there is and how soon can I get unstuck to create the life that I really want, that I prefer.
Right. The way we usually go about exploring this issue is to ask you a question, and certainly not a mundane one at all. The question we ask is, are you doing what excites you the most in life or not?
No.
Thank you for your honesty. The next question is, when will you choose to do what excites you the most in life? Bigger question.
I wanted to choose it yesterday, but...
And you didn't because? What belief systems are holding you back?
Fear.
Of?
Fear of...
Yes. Fear of what?
Choosing something and that not really being what really brings me joy.
So you're saying that if you choose something that excites you, you might actually be choosing something that doesn't excite you.
Well, my challenge is
Yes.
choosing something that excites me, because it may excite
Why is
me.
that a challenge? It's easy to do.
Yes, okay.
Do you believe that? Obviously not.
No.
All right. May I explain it to you in a way that will allow it to seem easier?
Yes, please.
Why, thank you. The idea that has been, in a sense, perpetrated throughout much of your New Age consciousness of following your bliss and acting on your excitement usually doesn't come with a clear explanation of why or how to do that. The idea simply is to understand it first and foremost in a very simplified manner, as follows. When we talk about the idea of acting on your joy, your highest excitement at any given moment, we don't necessarily mean that it has to be a life-spanning career, a gigantic project, an all-consuming endeavor. We literally mean act on whatever is at any given moment out of all the choices you have available to you, many of which may seem mundane. Just act at any given moment on the one that contains the highest amount of excitement out of all the choices you have the ability to take action on. Period. That's it. It's that simple. Excitement is a thread. It leads to all other excitement. So if you are simply sitting around going, oh, I don't know what excites me, just look at what your options are. Just list your options at that moment. If the only options are go shopping, take a walk on the beach, call a friend, just for an example, just pick the one that's most exciting and act on it to the best of your ability, taking it as far as you can till you can take it no further. When you come to the next crossroad, look at the options available to you then, pick the one that's most exciting, you have the greatest degree of ability to take action on, and take action on it. When you come to the next crossroad, do the same thing. When you come to the next crossroad, do the same thing. The excitement that you follow will automatically draw you into a series of synchronistic events that will constantly accelerate and expand your ability to experience excitement, and constantly accelerate and increase your ability to experience that your excitement will actually be capable of supporting you in your life if you keep moving in that way. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Now, the question is, do you believe it? Because the idea is that when we, first of all, offer the idea that all you have to do at any given moment is simply choose out of the relatively normal options available to you. If you can't think of any all-encompassing excitement, if you just choose the most exciting option out of whatever's available to you and act on it, when we offer that suggestion up, very often the first thing that comes out of the human mind is, but that's not connected to this, or how can that support me? I don't understand. You don't have to understand. That's the beauty of it. The idea is that your physical mind is not designed, never was, and never will be designed to understand how things will happen. It is not designed to understand or comprehend how something that you act on that excites you will bring you the thing you need somewhere down the line. So you don't have to think about how that's going to happen. All you have to do is act on it knowing that it will. Because the human mind is only designed to experience how things are happening. That's it. The human mind is only designed, the physical mind is only designed to understand the physical experience. The mechanism of how these things come to you come from a higher realm that is beyond the purview of the physical mind to comprehend or understand or be able to completely perceive. So you need to stop doing the job of the higher mind, let the higher mind do its job, and bring you these things as you need them in the way that it benefits you best. All you need to do to activate that mechanism, and we'll be talking a little bit more tomorrow about the idea of the mechanism of manifestation in a more complete investigation of that mechanism. But the only thing you really have to do is just start the ball rolling by acting on whatever excitement you are capable of acting on, and thus then by doing so, acting as an example to the higher mind, proving that you're willing to move in that direction so that the higher mind can go, finally she is willing to act in that vibration, so I can now give her more of that vibration, more things that are representative of that vibration, because she is showing by her behavior that she's willing to act on it. But if you're not willing to act on your excitement, why should the higher mind give you something to act on if you're not going to act on it? You see, you have to clear the space by acting on what you are capable of acting on before you make room for something bigger to come in. Because if you're not going to act on what you've got, well, higher mind is not going to do pointless things and give you things you're not going to act on. So you simply stop the whole process of your excitement expanding. Does that make sense mechanically?
Yes.
Are you willing to believe that you can act on your excitement and know that it will lead you where you need to be led?
Yes.
Trusting the synchronicity that will occur?
Yes.
We'll see. But that's the basic explanation of how it works. So when you say you have a difficult time figuring out what excites you, I apologize, but we actually don't believe you. Because it's really simpler than you think. You're just having a difficult time understanding a clear definition of excitement and following it. You follow?
I do follow. I think the other part of that is because if I'm in a work environment and my excitement may be not to be there,
then leave. Although, understand, we are very aware of what your belief systems are all about, many of you. And if you have a belief system that says if you leave that work environment, as much as you may not find it exciting, if you have a belief system that says that leaving that work environment is going to put stress on you, is going to, in a sense, cause you harm in some way, then you must honor your belief system for as long as you're going to hold on to it. But at least take the steps you can take. At least take the steps of acting on your excitement that you are willing to take. And the more you do that, the more your excitement will prove to you that it can support you as well. And the more it shows you it can support you, the more you'll be willing to let go of those things you don't prefer. So you can do it at your own pace. Don't dishonor your belief system. You can jump off the cliff, but only if you believe that you actually will fly. Otherwise, I would suggest you're in for a very hard landing. So don't dishonor your belief system. Don't just think, all right, I'll just throw caution to the wind and ignore my beliefs. That will always get you smacking into that brick wall we're going to talk about tomorrow. But the idea is that when you work with your beliefs and understand why you have the belief that you can't be supported in something that you love as opposed to something you don't love, then when you work with those beliefs, you can change them And the more you change them, the more you will relax into understanding how your excitement can, in fact, support you. One very strong exercise that I would always suggest to many of you, because it is based in your own reality, so it has more opportunity to stick in your mind, is to look at examples in your world of people that are making a living, in fact, making a wonderful living, being supported by doing nothing but the thing that excites them the most. Because I guarantee you, when you look at them and understand how they're doing that, you will understand that if they can do it, you can do it. There is nothing special about them in that context. If you can see it, if you can attract into your reality an example of someone acting on their joy and being supported in their life by doing so, if you could have attracted that example into your reality, if you are capable of even perceiving it, that means you are capable of living it. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been capable of perceiving it, because reality doesn't do pointless things, and you cannot perceive what you are not the potential vibration of. You follow?
Yes.
Does this help?
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
What if having an expectation was the reason for the action was exciting to begin with, or adds to the overall excitement? For example, if I'm planning to release a new song, part of what builds the excitement is how many people listened to it or liked it. I'm having a hard time imagining how I would be able to act on my passion for its own sake. I would really appreciate any clarity on this.
Instead of focusing on the idea of the number of people, allow yourself to focus on the knowledge that the people who need it will receive it and receive benefit from it and joy from it. Don't focus so much on the number. Remember, it's not about quantity, it's about quality, as you people say. Therefore, get excited about the quality of what you are creating in its pure form, because you know that because it contains high vibrational quality, because it has been created from your joy, your imagination and creativity, it will reach who it needs to reach and allow them to also match that vibration and experience joy and inspiration in their lives too. So focus on the quality, not the quantity.
This person would like to know, how do I know when I have truly changed my belief? I'm working on self-worth, and I can say I'm worthy and even believe it, but my circumstances are still the same. I feel stuck and I don't know what to do about it.
Remember, it's not about circumstances that tell you you've changed. It's about whether you respond differently to the same circumstances that tell you that you've changed. It shouldn't matter whether the circumstances change. If your response to it has changed, you will still get a benefit from it by staying in the positive energy. This is why this is the fourth step of the formula and why it's so important to remain in a positive state no matter what happens. Remember, it's not about what happens, it's about what you do with what happens that makes the difference. So if you're expecting the outer reality to change because you say that you've changed, you are working it backwards. It doesn't matter if the outer reality changes, because the outer reality will have only the effect on you that is determined by the state of being you create. And the state of being you create is your response to that circumstance, even if that circumstance remains the same and doesn't change. It's your response that needs to change, your energy that needs to change, your relationship to it that needs to change, and is what determines you have truly changed, not whether the outside changes or not.
Okay. And this person is interested in letting go of limiting beliefs. He says, or she says, I've been applying your principles recently and feel much better overall. I've noticed, however, that I still have limiting beliefs that I'm holding on to and want to explore them further to let go. This has been my focus for the past few months. Sometimes, though, answers don't come or the same limiting belief keeps resurfacing. How can I ensure I've successfully let go of a belief? What would be the sign that it's resolved?
The sign that it's resolved would be that the belief no longer makes any sense to hold on to, because you don't hold on to beliefs that don't make sense to do so. Again, this goes to what we have said about the motivational mechanism in humans. You only hold on to beliefs that you believe actually serve you. Even if you know intellectually that they don't, you must believe the alternative is worse, or you wouldn't hold on to the beliefs that you have. It must be that you view the belief that you're holding on to, even if you know it's not to your benefit, as being safer as a belief, more familiar as a belief, easier to deal with than the alternative should you decide to let it go and change your belief. So you have to find out what it is you're afraid would happen if you actually changed the belief. If you have a belief that says the alternative is worse, then you will still hold on to whatever it is you're holding on to that you know may not be serving you, but you believe serves you better than the alternative. So again, it takes self-investigation and transparency to understand why you're holding on to it, and it's usually because you believe that to let go of it or to go into another belief system, that something worse would happen than what you're already experiencing. So you just need more and deeper investigation of yourself as to what you are afraid would happen if you did in fact change your belief.
Okay. And this next set of questions is about the drones
Yes.
have been happening recently. So
We will answer them all in one statement. Most of the drones that you have been seeing have to do with man-made devices, human-made devices that are surveilling, observing, and protecting against incursions from others with ill intent. Some of the drones may be extraterrestrial vehicles disguised as drones, but many of the drones, even the ones that are human-made, military-made, that are involved in this surveillance and observation, may still be being coordinated by extraterrestrial beings in terms of the information that is being gathered by the drones that is important for preventing others of ill intent from doing actions that would be detrimental to many of the societies on your planet. So it's a very complex and involved operation that involves not only your military, but also extraterrestrials on another level to help coordinate information that provides the protection necessary to prevent actions that have ill intent from happening in your world. And that is all we will say at this time.
okay. Well, that's helpful because I'm sure a lot of people are wondering what is going on.
That is what is going on.
Okay, so moving along here to some additional questions. Here's an individual saying that they did the sacred circuits for 3 months, but they felt no positive changes. I tried talking with them, but received no communication back. I tried looking at them and taking their shapes, and I also tried looking at them while solely functioning on focusing on the energy. I was feeling something from each symbol, and then I noticed that the symbol's energy lasted for a few hours or less, but then it wore off. What is the best way to use the sacred circuits to have impact fully on transformation?
It appears that you are only using them energetically and not connecting the changes that they make in your neurological circuitry to the idea of then performing physical actions in service to humanity after you utilize the circuits. That's what they're for. It's not just about sitting there and trying to feel changes in your energy. It's about using the circuits to rearrange the energy paths in your body, the neurological paths in your body, to make you more superconductive, hyperconductive, of higher frequency energies, and then to take the actions that are necessary to act on your passion in service to humanity. So it's a two-part process. It's not just about meditating on the circuits, because then you're not really flowing the energy that the circuits are helping you change within yourself in a way that is pragmatic and grounded in your physical reality. So it's not just about experiencing energy changes, it's about putting them into action.
Okay, thank you. How do we exist in the here and now, the present moment, and still be there for our future selves? For instance, how do we stay tuned into the present channel and still be able to make long-term, sometimes difficult choices that will benefit us later, but may be difficult in the now?
Again, the challenges that you face in the now determine what you will experience in the next now, which is what you call the future. Stay present with the challenge. Again, follow the formula in dealing with any challenge. It will allow you to set up the vibrational patterns that will allow you to experience the next present now in the way that will continue to move you forward in a beneficial way. That is what you do.
Okay, now this question is about free will. You teach us that we have some free will about how we will live our lives and explore our themes, and have given the analogy that it's like getting to choose how we walk down a hallway. But some other teachings say, well, really, all of this is just one non-dual thing happening, and there's not even any self or doer to choose anything, and that free will is an illusion. Can you help reconcile this?
You have free will as a soul. You have free will as a physical entity. On a certain level, you could say that it is a non-dual experience, but on the physical level, that is not the case. Because you have given yourself the opportunity to have 2 points of view, that of the soul or the higher mind, that of the physical personality, you then have the opportunity to express different forms, different expressions of free will. The free will of the soul that chose the life path, the free will of the physical personality that determines how you will live that life path. So the idea that it is an illusion is true only in the sense that the idea of an illusion is simply another way of saying it's a projection that gives you an opportunity to have a certain kind of an experience. Many people use the word illusion in the sense that for some reason, just because something is an illusion, that it has no meaningful content, that it means nothing. This is not the case. That is one definition of an illusion in a certain context, but it's not the way we're using the word at all. The idea that your physical reality is an illusion doesn't mean it doesn't have the meaning that you give it, and doesn't mean it isn't a worthwhile experience that helps you learn lessons and helps you grow. It simply means it's a technique of consciousness projection that gives you a scenario in which you can learn those lessons and experience that growth and those processes that lead to it. So please do not misunderstand that when we use the term illusion, that doesn't mean it's worthless. That doesn't mean it's negative. That doesn't mean it doesn't serve a function. That's not the way in which we're using the word illusion.
Thank you. This question is, has everything there is already been created? So how has everything there is already been created in all dimensions, and we are just experiencing it over and over again? But since we make ourselves forget, it feels like we're playing a new game for the first time? Or
In a
is
sense,
all that isness still constantly expanding?
as we have explained, in a sense that is so. But the idea is that the structure, yes, already exists, all of it. It's your relationship to it, your experience of it, and your perspective of it that expands and allows creation to grow. So it's both. The structure already exists and is infinite, But there are certain portions of it that are relevant for your life path, and your relationship, your perspective, and your experience of that structure relative to your life path is what allows you to discover a new perspective of yourself and to grow. It's the way that all that is has of experiencing itself in all the ways that it can. So it already exists as a structure, but it doesn't necessarily already experience itself in all the ways that it can. That never ends, because it's all based on how you decide to experience your relationship to that structure, your experience of that structure, your perspective of that structure that continues to allow all that is to experience new perspectives of itself, new awareness of itself, new expansions of itself within the structure that never changes.
Quite amazing.
Yes.
This individual is asking a question about weight. You've said that our soul comes to Earth to have a particular set of experiences. For instance, it seems to me that my soul wanted to experience being overweight and unhealthy. Now, my human self disagrees with that and really wants to be healthy. Who wins here, the soul or the human body? Is it possible that the soul's desire experience is so strong that the human body can't change it or move to a timeline where the human's preferred experience, regardless of how many permission slips the human uses?
Usually, when the soul determines a particular kind of experience as a starting point, that usually allows the physical being to use that in order to create a transformational experience to go in a different direction. So the idea may be that there is resistance within your belief system that prevents you from transforming this in order to lose the weight that the soul is giving you as a starting point to have a challenge to face and overcome. It is relatively rare that the soul would choose something in that context, though not impossible, that is impossible to change. And if that is the case, then there is purpose to it that teaches other people some different kind of lesson relevant and relative to their interactions and relationship with you, who is unable to lose that weight. This is very rare, but the idea is that it's not impossible, that the weight needs to be maintained in order to teach other people a lesson in terms of how they relate to people who have that kind of weight. However, it doesn't mean that you cannot change the circumstance if you get in touch with the idea of what that symbol that the soul has chosen represents and what lessons can be learned by others by maintaining it. Then you may be able to transform it and yet still create a situation that allows people to change the way in which they relate to people who do have the excessive weight, by forming some kind of an organization that will allow people to learn to look at people like that in a different way, to have compassion and empathy for the challenges that they're facing, and to perhaps help them learn different ways in which they can transform that challenge. So the idea can be used in a variety of ways. It doesn't mean you can't transform it, but it may mean you have to figure out a way to still help people understand the same lesson that maintaining the weight would teach them, if it is for the purpose of other people learning lessons from a person who has the excessive weight. So you can lose the weight if you can still figure out a way to help people learn the same lesson when you don't have the weight.
In continuation with that idea, it appears that being of service is some of the highest vibrational states one can be in.
Yes.
And the idea that humans as personalities prefer to experience positive, fun, exciting experiences of reality. And yet, as part of their soul contract, they may have come in with a willingness to experience great suffering in order to assist others. How do we
Yes.
reconcile those two perspectives?
Because the idea is that what you call suffering can be looked at in a different way, or it can be transformed simply into the energy of the lessons that others need to learn, so that the person experiencing that particular choice of the soul doesn't actually have to experience it as suffering, even though others may perceive it as such. So this requires a great advancement of the energy of that person and the awareness of that consciousness to learn how to still give off the vibration of the lesson that others may need to learn through perceiving them as suffering while they themselves do not suffer.
And perhaps an example of that would be what happened with Christopher Reeve when
Yes,
he portrayed being Superman and
yes,
then had that experience that changed his entire existence as a
yes,
personality.
yes, that can be some of it. So when something like that gets to a point where it seems inevitable and it's unlikely to change, then it can be seen perhaps as a lesson for others to learn how to relate to it in ways that he may have demonstrated that allow him to overcome what most people would consider to be the limitations of that physical experience.
Okay, so it takes a lot of vibrational uplifting in order to really understand these ideas.
It takes the advancement of the energy of that personality to more closely match the frequency of the soul itself. Yes.
Wow. And I guess the animals kind of demonstrate that because if they come from the angelic realm and they're willing to experience what we perceive they experience here on Earth,
Yes,
that would be a prime example of what you're speaking of.
absolutely, because they allow people to become more sensitive to the idea of what appears to be their suffering, so as to change things in terms of your relationship to the idea of animals, so that you can be more supportive, more loving, and more kind to them, at the same time learning how to do that for yourselves. They are great teachers.
Yes. Um, if we are creating our own reality experience, and if things in our world, including you and other spiritual teachers, are part of the illusion of physical reality, how can we trust you or any teachings in the physical world to be accurate and not just more illusions or reflections of our own beliefs or something like that?
This is what we said before. Many people on your planet are using the word illusion as if it has absolutely no value, as if it is simply nothingness, as if it is a trick, as if it is a deception. That's not the way we're using the word illusion. The way we use the word illusion is simply a description of the idea that what you're experiencing as a physical reality is a projection of your consciousness. Let me give you a simple example. When you go and look at a movie, in a sense, the movie is an illusion. You're not actually looking at people in real life, so to speak. You're looking at something that is a projection onto a screen. Yet the story has great value, can even be very emotionally moving to you, can help teach you lessons. So you could say, well, the movie is an illusion, but it has value, it has worth in the experience that you are taken through by watching that movie, by relating to the characters in the movie. Again, another form of story. So the idea is not to invalidate the concept of the word illusion in the context that we are using it. It's just a way of describing that you're using a particular device to experience the meaning you're giving into life, the experience of the lessons you need to learn from life, and the processes that you need to experience for your soul's growth. So it's up to you to determine through your synchronicity that what you've attracted yourself to in this experience, whether you are understanding it to be an illusion or not, is simply your way of reflecting to yourself what you need to know to determine what's true and what's not true for you as a being. So please do not devalue the concept of the illusion. It's nothing more than the device you're using, like a movie, to tell yourself a story that helps you learn lessons and helps you grow and helps you understand who you are relative to the big picture in life.